on the quiz, like 2 of the questions, I'll give you something, and then you're trying to figure out what goes where in that parenthesis. What are you multiplying by? Okay? And then one of the questions that I'm going to give you, you're going to be asked to compare. And how you're going to compare 2 things is I'm going to give you one speed. And when I give you the speed, I'm going to give you the speed in miles per hour. And then I'm going to give you a different speed. And I might give it in meters per second. And I'm going to say, which one's going faster? Well, you're either going to have to change the miles per hour to meters per second or meter per second to miles per hour, right? They have to be the same unit in order to compare them. So, when you look at those 3 questions, each one, 6 points each. Okay? So those 3 questions, 6 points each. The next thing that you are going to see is you are going to be asked to add, subtract, multiply, what? Matrices. Okay. If you can't, you got to tell us why. If you can't add, if you can't subtract, if you can't multiply, if you can't, you got to give me the reason why it's undefined. Right? There are 4 questions, 5 points each. So, knowing when things are undefined. When you add and subtract, it's undefined if they're not the same size, right? When you multiply, you got to look at the row and column being the same in order for them to work out for those 2, the 2 that are as you multiply. Then you're going to be asked to classify. So if we are going to classify the types of numbers, kind of like that activity you did in class, when we did that, classifying types of numbers, I'm going to be asking you, is it rational, is it irrational, is it a whole number, list the different categories. So this is kind of lesson A1. This was A2, 3, A2 and A3, add, subtract, multiply. This was A1. So these are our 4 units that we've covered so far. A1, A2, 3, and then this was A4 that we were doing. So classifying the numbers, there's 1 question, it's 4 points. And then we have still 1 more. And this is also A1. So both of these are from that lesson A1. If we are finding the product or the sum of 2 irrationals. So when we look at that, there's 2 questions on that. I think they're 4 points each. So remember we had 4 situations that were always true, and then we had 2 situations that it said you could depend. So I would very much recommend go back over your notes. Go back and take a look at them, making sure things are making sense to you. How well you know this, I mean, that's for you to kind of decide that last one, right? For what do I need? Is this making sense? The other thing, if you look at the daily planner, so on the daily planner, and you're kind of looking at these at-home resources, and you go, I don't know what she means by that. So the workbook is there, but this at-home resources, it's going to come up as a Word document, and if you click on it when you're on the daily planner, so classifying numbers, so if you need more help with that, matrices. I got a bunch of like Virtual Nerd video, YouTube videos, unit analysis. That just doesn't make sense how we're doing it. I put a bunch of them. These are for the ones that we're going to be finishing off the unit with, so there's more there. But you can just click on those and then go to those web pages. You can also, Khan Academy, if any of you have used that before, that is a great resource for looking, and you just put in the title, or go to YouTube and put in classifying numbers, and you're gonna see just a ton of videos on all these different things that if you're really struggling with it and you're not at school, you're at home, okay? I wanna look then at your homework. So, looking at getting rid of the word ounces. So if I wanna eliminate that word ounces, I already used serving, so now I might go with, I have two options here, right? I could go with, if I'm going with ounces, I might go with, do I need the 12 ounce can? Just one can. Do I need that one? Or do I want that one can serves 64 ounces? Which one of these is more important to me? The 64 ounces, right? With one can. Do I need this one? That there's 12 ounces? A 12 ounce in one can. Does that help me? No, it does not. So you got to kind of make sure you're also looking at information. Is my answer now going to be in this case, can or cans? Yes. So we are taking 120 times 8 divided by 64. Okay. Should have came up with 15. If we take a look at number 11. Number 11. They say he made a mistake. One of the conversions was done, are the following conversions done correct? If not, explain. So he runs 40 yards in 4 seconds. Okay? And if we are looking at that, it says, well, how many in miles per hour? So, notice here, they have 4 seconds. And what did they use here when they were multiplying? You can't see it up here. But they used what? 1. That's the mistake. It was like, I know it was kind of cheesy and not very nice as a mistake, right? I mean, but some of you will not multiply the right numbers. It's because that's a 1 there and it should have been a 4. Right? I don't like that mistake as much. The other one's a little easier to find. And in number 10, as you look at number 10, first thing you know, 13.5 gallons of gasoline your tank holds. That would be one of your conversions. Your tank is equal to 13.5 gallons of gas. As we look at that, it says your fuel gauge shows that your tank currently is 1/4 full. So that's actually where we want to start. We have, if you want to start it as 0.25 of a gallon of a tank, or if you want to say 1/4 of a tank, right? Same thing. You agree? Okay. So that's where we're starting. We know we have 1/4 of a tank. It says your car averages 25 miles per gallon of gasoline. So that's another one of my conversions that I want to use, is that my car can go 25 miles on 1 gallon of gas. Okay, that's pretty good gas mileage, right? And the GPS shows that you are 85 miles away from your destination, and your brother says you're going to make it. Is he correct? And we want to use our units to justify. So we started with, we only have 1/4 of a tank left. Now, most modern cars, right, they show you have this many gallons or this many miles till you are out of gas. So that would be nice, but we're going to say that this is an older car, right? So you don't have that information. So what should I put for so on the quiz, I'll give you something like this. I'll give you this problem, and then I'll put these 2 parentheses behind it. That's what I'm talking about for the 2 parentheses. So what should I have going opposite tank? I got to have 1 tank is 13.5, right? So 1 tank, 13.5 gallons. And now, since I've used the word tank, I need to convert from gallons to, in this case, miles. And 1 gallon is 25. So on your calculator, you would have taken 0.25 times 13.5 times 25. And it comes out to be 84.375. Are you going to make it there?
No.
Your brother was wrong. Our brother's often wrong. I have 3 brothers, so I can say that. Yeah, they're often wrong. all really
They're
confident in their
just
abilities.
push the farther.
Right, so no, they were wrong, right? That's all right, they were wrong. You wouldn't have to walk too far, 7/10 of a mile,
Yeah, it's
right?
not that long. That's just
Eight, you know.
a year.
Yeah.
If you have some gas in your reserve, you might be able to.
Well, you might, yeah, if you did. You just push it. But what I attached to today's daily planner is this, and I don't care if you want to write these problems on the front cover of your, like the inside cover of your, on the pink, right? Either the front or the back. But we didn't put any practice problems on the review for the quiz. There's no practice problems at all. So I want you to write down, these are 6 questions that would try to be good ones to practice so that if you need them for Monday, and I will tell you that I did put these